This is All of It on WNYC. I'm Allison Stewart. A lot of people in 2026 have a side hustle, but not all of our side hustles end up with an exhibit at a major New York museum. Joe Macken is a truck driver who grew up in Middle Village, Queens. One night in 2004, after watching a documentary about New York, he went down into his basement, found some balsa wood, and carved the RCA building at Rockefeller Center. The next night, he made another building, and then he kept going. More than 20 years later, Joe has created a 50 by 30 foot model of New York City, building by building and borough by borough. It started small, according to Joe.
6-inch by 3-inch boxes.
That model is now on display at the Museum of the City of New York. It's called He Built This City, Joe Macken's Model. Elizabeth Sherman curated the exhibit, and she saw art in Joe's hobby.
I love passion. I love persistence. I love individual expression. I like that whether it's from an artist who has all the degrees and accolades in the world. I like it if it's from a child. I like it if it's from someone who has been doing this for 21, 22 years in their basement. It's the labor, the love, the investment of time, the individual expression that really draws me to something.
Joe?
Yep.
So after you finished the project, your daughter encouraged you to tell people about it, and it went viral. It's got about 10 million views so far. First of all, what was your reaction to all the attention that you received?
It was surreal. I really didn't expect all that to happen. I mean, when my daughter told me to put it on TikTok, I knew what TikTok was, but I didn't. It took me longer to download the app than it did to build the whole city. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. So I finally did, and the next day I did it on a Sunday night. The next day I didn't even think of it. I was sitting in my chair like I always do on a Monday morning. My daughter comes running downstairs, telling me your video you did last night is going viral, and I'm like, oh my God, you know. She's like, you have to make another one now, and I'm like, oh, no, that's it. You know,
that's
but
it.
I did. I kept going. If it wasn't for her, I probably would have, she helped me a lot. She inspired me to do it.
Why do you think, Elizabeth, the video went viral?
I think Joe is so, as you can see here talking to him right now, he's so personable, so easy to talk to, and there's such accessibility and humility in the way he talks about what he's done. I think many people who've invested this kind of time in a project would be boastful about it, would be hubristic. He's just, this is what I did this. And as he says to many people, you can do this too. And I think it's that being transported into somebody's home and seeing that taking one step a day, every day for a long time can result in something amazing is really captivating to people in the TikTok videos and is part of what's really captivating about the model in person.
When you were working on it, Joe, did you find it relaxing?
Very relaxing. That's one of the reasons why I did it. I would spend all day working, come home, help fix dinner, hang out with my kids, watch a little TV. And before I went to bed, I would just sneak down into the basement. I had to get up at 4 the next morning. And I said, I'll go down there for 20 minutes, fiddle around, work on it. I'd be down there for 4 hours, falling asleep at the table. It happened almost every night. I had to push myself to not do it.
Ooh, interesting.
So, that was the opposite.
Yeah, it sounds like it wasn't hard to make the models. The hard part was leaving it.
The hard part was not making it. That's how much I love doing it.
Let's walk through the construction process. How long would it take you to make a typical building?
It all depended on the building, because a lot of the older buildings in Manhattan have a lot of different shapes and a lot of tiers. So I would say like the Empire State Building would take me about 2 hours to carve, and then another half hour to paint, and another probably half hour to detail. But luckily, most of the buildings that I did after Manhattan were the outer boroughs, and it was much easier because I gained the skill and I was able to, just from doing it so much, it became more natural to me.
Oh, that's so interesting. So early on, when you were doing Manhattan, you were just sort of learning how to do it.
Right.
And then as time went on, you're like, oh, I got this,
Right.
Queens. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Well, it took me 10 years to build Manhattan and 10 years to build the other 4 boroughs.
Do you consider yourself an artist?
I hear that a lot, and I never considered it. But now I guess I am considering. When I think of artists, I think of people who paint. That's how I thought of it. But artists can be photographers. They could be builders. They could be any kind of sculptures. So I think yes. I think I am kind of an artist.
What makes Joe an artist, Elizabeth?
I take a incredibly expansive definition of what it is to be an artist, building on Joe talking about all different media, conceptual art. For me, it's the creative expression in a physical form that he wants to share with other people, that he did with his hands, with materials. That makes him an artist. And I think when you see the model in person, it becomes really not a debate. This is his vision, and he's sharing his physical vision with the world, and that's a work of art.
Joe, we got a couple questions here for you. Can I ask them?
Absolutely.
All right. This text says, has Joe gone back and made new improved sections of previously built blocks of this model?
Sometimes when I'm working on it, I get so involved in what I'm doing, and I want to get to the next, to the next, to the next. Sometimes I kind of like lose a little focus on going back and doing over what I need to do over. But I did go back and do, before I put it in the museum, I did go back and I updated a lot of it. Yeah. When I was taking the boards out of the storage.
Let's talk about the size of it, because you said storage unit, boards. Okay, you said it's 50 feet by
30.
And it's made up of how many boards? Do you remember?
343.
Wow. So when you realized this was a project that you were going to take all your time to do, and it was going to take up all of this space, what did your wife think? I always want to know what the wife thinks.
She's very, very supportive. She loves it. She doesn't mind.
When did you realize what size it was going to be?
I built it in pieces, like a puzzle. I knew the math because I knew how big the boards were, but I never really can picture how big it actually was when you lay it out. So it was, when I put it together back in September, it was pretty awesome. I mean, it was bigger than I thought. 50 feet by 30 feet is a lot bigger than you think.
That's pretty big. This question says, what was Joe's source for the shapes and scale of the buildings?
I just went off a computer. I looked at the shapes, and I just tried to replicate it as good as I can. And I tried to make a perfect replica of it. I mean, that's what I wanted to do. And I did put my own little personal touches in there, like I kept the World Trade Center. I wanted to do that for me because they're one of my favorite buildings. I used to look at them every day in the morning when I used to get up in the morning.
One Freedom Plaza and the Twin Towers.
I do, and they're right next to each other. So I also have my own little take on it myself. So,
what did you think, Elizabeth, when you saw it all laid out?
I got the chills. I unfortunately didn't have the pleasure of going up to visit Joe's storage unit, which I would have loved to do. And so when we saw some of the sections in advance, especially when you see those Manhattan neighborhoods, those buildings that you're so familiar with, miniatures just always, I think, do something to you. That kind of bird's eye view of these landmarks you're so familiar with. So I thought I had in my head some idea of how incredible it was going to be. I was there for the first day of installation, but then when I came in at the end, when it was all complete, it's an incredibly magical, emotional feeling for somebody who knows this city, for someone who loves this city. Whether you live here or not, we all have a mental image of New York City in our heads. I think we're all captivated when we get that perfect flight path on a gorgeous, clear day over the city and press our noses against the airplane window, trying to find the places we know. This is what you get to do standing in front of Joe's model, is take in your city, take in New York City in all its vastness, in all its complexity. And again, through the magic of one person's artistic efforts, it's an incredibly effective emotional impact on me.
A lot of people have seen the panorama at the Queens Museum. What did the panorama mean to you, Joe, growing up?
I've been there many times. The first time I went was when I was in first grade. I took a field trip. I went to school in Queens. And back then they had this virtual helicopter ride that you go around, like you're sitting in like a little tram, I guess, and you go around the perimeter of it. And I remember sitting there going around it, and I was just amazed. And I remember turning to my classmate who was sitting next to me, and I said, I'm going to build one of these myself one day.
No way.
And it wasn't until I was in my 40s that I started, but I kept my word.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. And I'm friends with her on Facebook. And I'm going to see if she remembers me saying that to her. I'm going to try.
I hope she's listening.
Yeah.
Maybe she's listening.
Yeah.
I did read that there was one structure that you didn't make yourself, the Statue of Liberty.
Right.
Okay. Was it too difficult, or did you decide, I'm not going to touch that? What's the story there?
I tried to do it maybe like 4 times, and the arm kept falling off, the one that sticks straight up. And it's fine. I mean, a lot of the buildings that I made took me a few times. But when I went to Hobby Lobby and I saw a Statue of Liberty that was the perfect scale for my model. It was like 2.5 inches tall. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to buy it. It was in a package, and because there was a bunch of other things in there too, like boats and ships. I could use those too for the New York Harbor and the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. So I bought it, and I used a bunch of them, and I just kept it's a perfect replica of it. So I figured, yeah. So that's the only thing that I didn't. And a couple of boats. Other than that, everything else was carved.
All right, outside of the Statue of Liberty,
Right.
What was the most difficult or challenging building to build?
Wow. Believe it or not, probably the Empire State Building, because of all the different shapes and tiers, especially going up all the way to the top with the point. In fact, that was the only building out of the whole model that I had to fix after I put it together.
Oh, you looked in and you were like, that's not right.
Because the point fell off. So I was fixing that this morning. And the other reason is because it's such an iconic building, and everyone's going to be looking for it. I wanted it to look good. So that's another reason.
This text says, it's making me tear up that Joe included the Trade Center.
Thank you.
You're a trucker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? When did you start driving trucks?
I've been doing it for 18 years. Yep. I work for a company upstate. I deliver local beverages. And I just did my model, just part-time, just like after work. And, I work outside. And I love it because, I'm kind of an outdoors kind of guy. And I'm getting up there. It's almost retirement age, but we'll see.
There's other cities you can do.
I'll build any city now. Oh, it's awesome.
Elizabeth, when you think about the model, what are you thinking about when you see this whole creation that Joe has made?
I mean, one of the things I'm thinking about, especially given that we're presenting it at the Museum of the City of New York, is how vast our city is, how complex, how beautiful, how underexplored. You stand there in front of the model and you're really presented with the fact that Manhattan, where we put all of our energy, where Joe put 10 years of his energy, where so much media and storytelling is focused, is geographically, and we know this in our heads, but standing there, it's geographically a tiny part of this vast, complex city. And I think it's a reminder to each of us. It's a reminder to me to get out of my pathways. I ride the same train every day. I do similar things on the weekend. There's so much to explore. There's so many histories to uncover, people to meet, food to taste. So standing there in front of the model, I think about the lifetime of exploration and storytelling I have to look forward to.
As you said, you finished the model in 2025, Joe. What was the final block that you completed to finish it?
It was Staten Island. It was the southern part of Staten Island. Staten Island is a pretty easy borough to build because there's a lot of green. So that one took me the quickest to finish. So yeah, it was Staten Island, the southern part of Staten Island.
Where do you want to visit in New York now that you've built the whole darn thing?
Oh yeah, I love all of New York City. I'll go anywhere. I love every borough. Yeah.
That was well said. The show is called He Built This City, Joe Macken's Model. It's on display at the Museum of the City of New York. The museum offers free admission to all visitors every Wednesday. The Noguchi Museum is free on the first Friday of each month. And if you want to catch Duchamp at the Museum of Modern Art before it closes, MoMA offers free admission to New York State residents every Friday from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. And that is all of it for today. I'm Allison Stewart. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you. I'll meet you back here next time.